I will rejoin the Paris Accord. I will join the Paris Accord because with us out of it, look what's happening. It's all falling apart.
There is real urgency around the need for climate action if we are going to limit catastrophic global damage. We need to reduce global warming to, 1.5 or even 2 degrees, and that the only way we're going to do this is if the United States rapidly starts decreasing their emissions. So, on one hand, that's a big reason why a lot of people are very grateful that Biden is going to rejoin the Paris Agreement. I think the other argument, which is equally as interesting to unpack, is just what the U.S. getting in the game kind of does for global ambition and actually sort of a little bit of the global competitiveness, both on, the emissions reduction side, but on the economic side as well. I mean, the U.S. getting in the game and setting meaningful targets is going to help pressure, other nations that have perhaps been, laggard. That all of a sudden, if the U.S. is getting serious about that, the reasons for not getting serious on climate change diminish significantly. I think the other thing is, again, just the U.S. throwing its weight around in terms of economic power and what it can actually, push and pull around globally. I mean, certainly, countries like the United States joining with perhaps the European Union may force China to have to get more serious about some of its climate policies. So certainly, there is much ado about the U.S. joining the Paris Agreement.
The climate risk disclosure issue, which again is something that was promised and that I think the new president will want to move forward on, which is to say requiring companies to disclose, not just their own, but sort of along their supply chain risks, both from climate impact and risks from new rules and emissions reduction efforts that may affect their bottom line. Is the U.S. potentially going to set a new standard on this, or is this another area where it's kind of playing catch up?
I think, yes, there are other jurisdictions that are moving further and faster ahead than the United States, but I would argue that it doesn't matter because of the economic heft, again, that the United States has, right? 1/4 of the world's economy is the United States. And so anything the United States does will rapidly have it catch up and perhaps even lead on climate disclosure just because of the sheer size of their economy. So, you talk about what's going to transform markets. I mean, the U.S. is huge.